A lot of people are very curious about my cholesterol levels when they hear that I'm on the carnivore diet. I've also been pretty curious, so I've gotten my blood tested a few times since starting the carnivore diet 4 years ago. And it's interesting to note some of the changes. So I'm going to be discussing some blood work that I had done back in April 2020, and then some blood work that I just had done a few weeks ago. So in April 2020, after I was carnivore for almost 1.5 years, my cholesterol, so my total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol levels were pretty high, higher than most doctors in the medical establishment would like our total and LDL cholesterol levels to be. With that being said, my HDL levels were pretty high as well, and my triglycerides levels were pretty low. So what we want are low triglycerides and high HDL. And in my opinion, total and LDL cholesterol levels aren't very important. So they're not indicative or predictive of cardiovascular disease risk. If anything, there's a number of large-scale studies that show an inverse relationship between LDL and total cholesterol levels and all-cause mortality or dying of any cause. So in my opinion, if we're metabolically healthy and the lipid markers that are relevant to metabolic health are triglycerides and HDL. So if we have low triglycerides, high HDL, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, what our LDL and our total cholesterol levels are. So as I said, in April 2020, after a year and a half of being carnivore, my total cholesterol levels were 441, which, like I said, is pretty high. My LDL level was 342. My HDL was 85, and my triglycerides were 71. So with regards to triglycerides and HDL, we want a triglycerides to HDL ratio of as close to 1 as possible. Less than 1 is optimal, ideal. So having triglycerides less than HDL is optimal. And back then, April 2020, triglycerides being 71, HDL being 85, that is a ratio of less than 1. So very good. So I was pretty happy with my cholesterol levels back then. So fast forward till a few weeks ago when I got my blood work done again. So some interesting things happened. My total and LDL cholesterol levels dropped significantly. So my total cholesterol level almost by 50% decreased, and my LDL dropped by about half. And in a little bit, I'll explain what I did differently or what I ate differently from the first year and a half to the second couple of years of being on carnivore. So my total cholesterol went from being 441, as I mentioned, to 264. My LDL went from being 342 to 169. And my HDL stayed about the same. It dropped about 3 points from 85 to 82, so still very good. And my triglycerides also significantly decreased from 71 to 43. So with triglycerides of 43 and HDL of 82, that's a triglycerides to HDL ratio of almost 1/2. Which is very good, which is a very good indicator or sign that you're very metabolically healthy. So I was pleased to see that. So in my opinion, again, I'm less concerned about my LDL and my total cholesterol levels. So the fact that both of those dropped significantly, okay, that's fine. If they'd stayed the same, I would probably still feel the same way. So, but I'm happy to see that my triglycerides significantly decreased while my HDL stayed more or less the same. So what was the difference? Because I have been eating a little bit differently the past couple years than how I did for the first couple years after I started carnivore. So the first couple of years, like many people who go on the carnivore diet, I ate a pretty wide variety of different types of foods. So I was eating all different types of meats, so beef, lamb, chicken, pork, fish, seafood. I was eating a good amount of dairy, so cheese and heavy cream, things of that nature. I was drinking coffee. And what else was I eating? I think that's about. I was drinking alcohol. So, like I said, the two non-carnivore things that I was consuming were alcohol on occasion and decaf coffee, because I went to decaf a number of years ago. I did that for the first couple of years. And I was eating a lot of eggs. In the past year, year and a half, the amount of variety that I've been eating really decreased. So lately, I've mainly been eating red meat, so mainly beef with a little bit of lamb. I no longer eat eggs. I no longer eat dairy. I no longer drink coffee. I no longer drink alcohol. It's pretty much fatty beef and with a little bit of lamb here and there. And I do eat beef liver, probably 2 weeks out of the month. But that's about it. So only beef, and I would say my fat intake increased from when I first started carnivore, the first year or two or so. I probably wasn't eating as much fat as I am today. Today I'm in a very high fat, eating a very high fat form of the carnivore diet. So I'd say probably about 80% of my calories are from fat, about 20% from protein, and 0 from carbohydrates. So it's interesting to note that doing the opposite of what you would think conventionally. So, if you want to lower your total cholesterol level or your LDL cholesterol level, you need to eat less fat, less saturated fat, and whatnot. So I did the opposite. I ate more fat, more beef fat, saturated fat, and my cholesterol total and LDL levels went down significantly from what they were previously at. Again, it could be the fact that I stopped eating dairy, the fact that I stopped drinking alcohol. Those might have played a part in that significant reduction in total LDL and triglycerides. So yeah, I'm still very happy with my blood test results with regards to lipids and everything else. I don't supplement. I don't take any supplements. No electrolytes. Nothing exogenous. I just eat fatty red meat, and I don't have any deficiencies. All my electrolyte levels are good. My other nutrient levels are all good. Nothing out of the ordinary. I feel great. I still have really good energy levels, really low stress levels. I'm getting stronger. So I'm pretty, so far, 4 years into the carnivore diet, I'm pretty happy with the results and pretty happy with how I'm continuing to feel and function, which is basically why I'm continuing with this way of eating. And I told myself when I first started 4 years ago that I'll continue eating carnivore until I either feel like I'm sick of it or until I feel like I'm not benefiting health-wise, or I don't feel like I'm thriving anymore, or I start experiencing some kind of decline in my health and functioning. As of yet, 4 years into it, I haven't reached either of those stages to where I'm either getting sick of eating meat or eating the same thing over and over again, or feeling like my health and or functioning are declining to any extent. So I still feel great and amazing and everything is good. And whenever I'm hungry, I crave and feel like eating beef and nothing else. So yeah, if you have any questions about my lipid levels, my cholesterol levels, let me know in the comments below. If you have any other questions or comments about anything else, let me know. If you found this video to be informative, go ahead and click the like button, and go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified about upcoming videos on topics such as health, athletic performance, functioning, mental health, and so forth. Thank you.